Good everyone, my name is Graphics. In this video, we want to reproduce a figure that is displayed at the right hand side of the screen in isometric projection. Now, I will always tell you, whenever you hear the word isometric projection, you should draw your isometric axis, right? You draw your the vertical one this way, and you draw the x and the z axis this way. You can see that. Now the next step is for you to get the entire width. So the entire width here is given to be from here to here, which is 44. That is the entire width. So I'm going to measure 44, right? From this point here, from 0 to what? 44. This is 44 here, right? And the entire length here is given to be this 48 plus 35 plus 22, and that's going to give us what? 105. So the entire length here is 105. This is 105 here, right? From this point to this point is 105 here. Then I'll take my set square and I'm going to project it upward. From my set square, project this point upward. Drawing isometric is always very efficient when you make use of your instrument. It makes you faster, right? So I have this, that is what we have. Then the entire height here is given to be 37 plus 24. How did I get 24? 24 is gotten from the radius of what? Of this circle. And the diameter of the circle here is given to be what? 48, meaning the radius will be what? 24, right? So I'll be having 24. So the total height now will now give us what? 37 plus 24, that will be what? 61. So I'm going to measure 61 from here. Now you might be asking, this is 61 here. Now you might be asking, how did I get the 22 here? When I say 48, the 35 and the 22, how did I get in when I was talking about the length? It's just the radius of this circle here is 22. So if you add 20, because the total diameter is what? Is 44, meaning the radius is what? 22. So when you add 22 with 35 and 48 here to give you what? The 100 and what? 5. Now I'm going to close it up. So what I did here, right? I'll also do it here. Cover here up. Now I usually use the method of what sculptors do, where they'll go to the forest or the bush and cut down a big tree, then start carving out image from it, like a sculptor, right? So what I do is I try to get the entire length of my figure and I will carve out my image, right? So that is what I do. So I have successfully carved out this image here, right? I brought it out. What I did is I just placed it this way. I drew out this, the same thing. I'll place it at this point here. I do the same thing, right? Just for forming my box. Is that okay? Now I would like to start carving out my image. Is that okay now? So I'll take this back a little bit, right? And I will enlarge it so that you have a clearer view of what I am trying to project, right? So this is what we have here. So in doing this, that is what we have. Now let's start. I will start building from the front here. We know the entire thickness here is given to be 44, like I said earlier, right? Meaning we should take half of it, which is what? 22. So I'll take half of it, which is 22 from this point, 22 from here. So if this is 44, this will be 22 here. That'll be half of that line, right? And the thickness from here to here is given to be what? 15, right? So I'm also going to measure 15 from this point to this point here. 15 from 0 to here is 15, right? And I'll close it up. From here, I'll close it up. And I'll come here also. I'll close it up. Right? Now, the center point, I will just take it up to this point. I see that these lines are center lines, right? And I'll take this backward a little bit, not just completely, just a little bit backward here. I can even bring it just a little bit backward. And here also, I'll take it backward a little bit, right? So what am I trying to do? Is we know that from this point to this point, from here to here, is 44, right? Then from here to here also is 44, right? So I'll place it at this point and I'll cut here to get my other 44 here. I'll come here to get my other 44 here. I'll do it to both sides, here and here. So look at what I'm bringing out now. I will just draw my line from this point to this point. I'll come here also do the same thing from this point to this point. You see that? That is what I'm doing there. Then if I bring this down, look at what I'm trying to do here. I measured from here to here to be what? This is, sorry, this is 44, right? Then this is another 44 here, sorry. This will have here. So let's bring it down. To bring it down, this is what we need. So let me just try to remove this to avoid distraction here. So and now I'll just close it up. See what I'm trying to do now. So I'm bringing out this box. So this is the box I'm bringing out. A box here, a box here. Let me bring out the entire box. Right? Because the reason I bring out the box is we want to construct that arc you see there. Right? And we need ordinate method of construction of an ellipse in isometric, right? And we need a box. Just not a box, a square like box. Now we've done this. What you will now do next is for you to join. You should bring out this center line you have brought here this way. You can see that to this point, and you do it for the baseline too to this point. Mind you, I am not just drawing this line. I'm using the help of what? My t square to support my set square. That is only where your set square can work effectively. Now I've done that. Then I'll join the diagonal. Diagonal of this point to this point, this way, right? And diagonal from this point to this point, this way. You can see that? Now, where the diagonal and this vertical line meet will mark the center of what? Of this line here. And where this diagonal and this line here meet will mark another center here. You can see that? So through that center there, I will draw an horizontal line here through passing through my t square this way on that point, right? So passing my t square this way on that point. So I'll just have this from here to here. And I'll come down here too. The same thing will happen here from here to here. Right? So I have done that. Now the three most important point I have is this point. Right? I need this and this. So what we'll do next is from the end point here, I'll draw a line that will go and touch this here. You can see that? If I draw it this way, touching here, I'll come here too from this point also. I'll draw another line, come here to touch here. You can see that? So I need point 2 and I need point 1 here. So instead of me doing the same thing at the base layer, I will not do that. I'll just transfer the points. So I'll transfer this point from here to the other diagonal here. And I'll transfer this point from here to the other diagonal here. So we are done with that. So let's draw the curve that we need. So if I place it at this point here, and I take it to this point here, right? Place at this point here, I'll draw my my arc this way, right? So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to come at this point to this end point here, place it at that point where they meet, right? And I'll come to this point, and I'll do the same thing here. Come here, sorry, to this point, and I'll have this. You can see that I've done this. So I'll do the same thing at the base too. Since I use this top to get this arc, if I place it down here also, I'll get the other arc here. And if I place it here too, I'll get this other arc here. Right, so I'll just stop at the center point here. You can see that? And I'll just join from here to this point here. Right? So if I taking out this is how I will be having. So this is what I'll be having here. Right? So the straight line from this point here, which is this point here, will go straight down. So I will take in that line, I'll go straight down to meet this from here to here, right? From here straight down to this point. You can see that. So from the back here, we have another arc from this point, right? We have another arc from this point here. So I'll do the same thing. Start taking now 40, since from here to here is 48, I'll measure 48 from this point, another 48 here. This is 48 here, right? And I will take it up. 48, I'll just take it up this way, right? That is the 48 that we have. Now the next thing is I'll close it up. Let me just close it up here. That's 48 that we have there. So I'll close it up. And the next thing I'm going to do is from here to the center of this circle is given to be what? 37. So I'll measure 37 upward. 37 from this point. From here upward is 37. This is 35, 6, and 7 here. Right? So it is from that point I measure 37. That will represent the center of my circle. Right? So I'll just from here and I'll do this way. That again, that is what? 37. So what I'll simply do here is that we need from this point to here, we'll say it's 48, right? So half of 48 is what? Is 24. So I'm going to measure 24 on my meter rule from 0 to 24 here, right? And I'll place it at this point here. Can you see that it's 24 that we have here? Up to here is what? 24. So I'll just come here, I'll mark 24, and here also is what, 24. You can see that. Look at the logic here. From here to here is 24, right? This is also back down here is what, 24, right? So I'll form my box. So I'll just remove this to avoid confusion here. So doing that, I'll just form my box from this point here. If I come to this point, I'll draw my vertical line, right? And I'll come to this point. I'll also do this from here. Just faint line, first of all. Is that taken? Now what do you notice? I have set out a box too. So I can easily join the diagonal of this box from here to here. To just place it this way. This is, can you see that? That is the first box. And we have 4 of them. You count. Why did I say 4 of them? Because we have 4 different arc here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So I'll do this kind of thing. I'll do it in 4 places. Remember, they are 11 millimeter apart. So I'll measure 11 millimeter away from here. From this point, I'll measure 11 millimeter from 0, right? From 0 to here is 11. Also come from the ending point also, I'll do the same thing from 0 to here is 11, right? And I'll just close it up from this point. I'll draw a line this way, and from this point also draw another line this way, and I'll close here up this way. You can see that, and I'll bring it down from here. Take this down this way. So let's first of all start from here. We need place from this point here. You draw an arc that will touch from here to here, right? And you draw another arc that will touch from here to here. So from this point, you place your compass to this point, and you draw a semicircle from here to make this more visible. Can you see that? So let's stop here. I'll come to this point too. I'll do the same thing to this point, and I'll move here to the center point here. So we've done the first one, right? So we'll go to the second one. What we should just do here, we'll transfer the point. So I can easily, since I've drawn this out this way, I can easily bring this downward from here, like this, right? I can easily bring this downward too from here, like this. And I can bring this downward from here to come touch here, like this. You can see that? So join the diagonals. This diagonal to this point here. Also this diagonal to this point here. Also this diagonal to this point here. You can see that? And you transfer the points. This point that I used to get this curve here, right, will be the same point I used to get the next curve. And the same point I used to get the next curve and this curve too. Is that taken? And I need all the base points here. If I bring all this down from here to here, I need this point, right? From here to here also, I also need this point. And from here to this point too, I need this point. So these are the 2 points I need. For the first circle that I just drew here, I use this point and this point. For the second circle, I'll be using this point and this point here. So let's do that and see. So if I place my compass to this point here, right, and I need where to start from. So I can virtually start from here. It starts from here. So I just mark all this all through. Or better still, I'll just draw a line this way since they are the same. You can see that, and I'm going to end here. I'll just draw that line this way since they are the same. So what I'll do is, from this point, right from here, take my compass to this point here, and I'll draw my semicircle this way. Let's gauge that well. I'm having this. I'm using faint line first of all. So I'm having this. I'll come to the next point here, place it there. I'll just complete it to stop here. Right? Where I will now use this to cover up this point here. Can you see what I'm bringing out? So let me use my French curve to bring out this. So I'll just close it up like I said earlier. And I can bring here down, just as shown in the diagram. Taking, and I can also complete the other one here. So like I said earlier, I need this point also. This other third, I use the first point for this arc, the second point for this other arc, then the third point for the third arc. So when I place it at this point here, I'll come to the third arc here. Right, I'll move it from this point to this point here. You can see that. Let's make that easy. Just carefully place it there so you don't make any mistake. So this point here to this point here, this is what we need here, right? So I can just place it at this point. Then I'll draw this. So this is the first one. I'll come here too. I'll do the other one too. I see that. And I'll come to the fourth one from here. Take it to this point. The time I root, and I'll get the other one here. You need to this. If I place it here, I'll get the other part here. Just stop here. So I can easily close it up this way. Right? So let me thicken that out. So I can easily just close it up. You can see that? Now if you look at the diagram closely, right? If I should bring this backward this way, then I'll take this downward as shown in the diagram where my arrow is pointing this way. Then also it ought to stop here, right? Where that line meets. So let me just delete here off. Right? So I'll just close it up. I'll close it up too. And I'll bring all this down. And this down too. And this down too. Then I'll close here two down. You can see that? And I'll close here two down. You can see that? Then this will be going in. Now the next that's remaining here, if you look closely, there is something here, right? from our diagram here. So what I'm going to do is we do that from here to that center is given to be what? 35, right? So from that point to that here is 37, 35. So I'll measure the 35 from here. So from 0 to 35. Is it 35? Yes. So I'll measure it from 0 to 35. So this is 30, 35 here at this point. And I'm going to rule it backward this way. Faint line. You can see that? So let me just clean all this away to give you a clear view of what I'm about to do. So remember I said from here to 35, I'll just draw a line on that point this way, right? And I'll get the center, which we know what the center is. This is the center point here. So I'll just draw a line, the center point. And we're told that from this center to the next center is given to be 18. So from here, I'm going to measure 18. This is the 18 here, right? This is 18 here. I'll run that line again. Right? And the thickness here given to be 18 again. So I'll measure 18. That means 9 millimeter to both sides. So I'll just measure 9 millimeter on my meter rule from 0 to this point is 9. And I'll place it at the center point. I'll measure here to be 9. Right? To the next point here also to be 9. And I'll use my set square on those points. And I'll draw a vertical line up this way. And also I'll do it here also this way. You can see that? So I will construct the same thing I did here. We know that from here to this point is 9, right? So I'll mark 9 up and I'll also mark 9 down. Is that taken? I'll come here also. Let me first of all rule my box and get the box I need there. If I get this box this way and also this box this way. So I'm going to join the diagonals together this way, right? And I'll join this end to this end here and this end to this end here. So where they meet, they're meeting at this point here. That is what I will use to get my circle there. So let's do that. I don't need everything, I just need the half of it there. So from here, I'll place it here and I'll have this. And I'll come here also, I'll place it here and I'll have this. You can see that? So I'll do the same thing for the other side too. So if I come here, let me just remove this so to avoid obstruction. So we know that from here also the same thing I did there, I'll do it here too. From here to here that I measured is 9. So I'll mark 9 up and I'm going to mark 9 down. Right? And I'm going to rule my line across those points. So I'll close it up and I'll also close it up. Now I'll join the diagonal from this point to this point. Then I'm going to join from here to here and from here to here. So where they meet is this point here. So I'll just place it here and I'll connect here to here. See that? Sorry, the other part. So I'll connect from this point here. From this point here, I'm going to get this. See that? So let's just put it there and put here. And I'll come here too I'll do the same thing here too. That's your ordinate method of construction. Can you see that? Then I'll just join this point to this point. Join this point to this point. You can see that? I can easily take in here, so let me take in here out. You can see that? Similarly, a depth, we have another one under here, so I can just rule a line here this way. See what I want to do? Just take it down a little bit. So since the height here from here to here is 15, I'll measure 15 downwards. This is from here to here is 15. So I'll measure 15 downward. From 0 to 15 is here. Right? So this is where I can just use my French curve and see which of them will fit in here. So I believe this is fitting in here, right? So I'll come to that point I measured 15 and I'll just draw this way, right? Because I can just from here draw a straight line here. First of all, draw a straight line here first of all on this point, right? Then I'll take this to close there up this way, because I use this to do this. You can see that this point is coming straight down to this point. That's what we have there. Now the next thing we'll need to do, if you check here, there's something here, a circle here, right? So I'll do the same thing, and the circle has a diameter of what, 24. I'll measure half of 24, which is given to be 12 on my meter rule this way, 0 to 12, and I'll place it at the center point. I'll mark to the left, to the right, up and down, right? So these points here, I need them, so I'll just make them form a box. So from here, vertical, right? Then we'll have this from here, horizontal. From here also I have this. This is what I'm bringing out. I'll do that for every point here. So let me just do this, draw my line diagonal. We already have a diagonal there, and from this point take it to this point, and from this point take it to this point. So this is what we have here. So I'm going to draw my curve there. If I place it at this point, I'll place it here, and I'll have this. Can you see that? Faint line first. I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing here, and I'll have this. Then I'll come here too, and I'll have this. Then this end point here, and I'm going to have this. Can you see that? So I can tick that out. So this is what we have here. So there's still in also, like I told you earlier, the same thickness. So what I'll just do is I'll measure from this point. I'll measure, since from here to here is 11, so I'll measure 11 inward, right? We measure 11 inward from here. This is 11 here. So it's from this point. I'll do the next one. I'll just use my French curve instead of stressing myself, because since this is fitting into this, right? This is fitting into this. So I'll just come to that point of 11 that I measured. From here I measured 11 inward. Let's see that again. This is where my 11 is, and I'll just do the same thing here. You can see that? Can you see that? And I'll come here, I'll do the same thing. So I can just even use this. So for that, I have the center of this first of all. So let me use my set square. This is the center point here. I'll just draw this downward, and I have the center here. So transfer those points. nail the center here, which is this. That is where I will draw my points. I'll draw this way. So I'll transfer the points. This point, you just construct your own box here. So there's no much trouble there. And this point too. So if I take my and I draw this up and I draw this way, then this way. So what I did there, I'm doing it here. So you can also take your French cup and just place it there. That if it fits in, you put it there. So this is fitting in, right? So I will just go there and draw this way. And I'll stop here. And this will come. And I'll stop here. You can do that inside too, just like what I did here. And I'll stop here to save you time and energy. You see that? So this is what we have here. Either you construct the way I did this, or you just use your French curve and you get that. So this is, we have successfully reproduced the figure that is displayed at the right hand side of the screen in isometric projection. So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share the video. Thanks for watching.